so notes 1-6. Today we're talking about function notation, day 1. So we're going to spend 2 days on this, okay?
Dang.
Today will be kind of the simpler version, and then the next time we learn 1-7 will be a little bit more difficult. All right, so it says a function. Do you know what a function is?
Yep.
What?
It's where the x does not repeat itself.
You're right. A function means that x does not repeat. Okay, that's one meaning of function. All right, this is a new meaning of function.
Oh gosh.
Function, it can be an equation.
Oh, dang. That's cool.
So a function is really just a fancy word for equation. Okay? Yes, it means x's don't repeat. It also is just, like I said, a fancy word for equation. So a function can be an equation with input values, which are the domain, and output values, which are the range. And like I said, in Dr. XY left his ID in his office, you've got input and output on there. Okay? So example 1. Look at example 1. All the information that it gives us. What does it give us? What do you notice on 1? Huh?
Domain.
It gives us our domain, right? Well, Dr. XY left his ID in his office. So domain are my x's. What am I looking for? Huh?
The range.
We're looking for our range. Do y'all see how the range right here is blank? We don't know the range yet, right? So it gives us our domains and it wants us to find our range, our y's. Well, it says our input, so what we're going to put in is our x's. And our output, what comes out, are going to be our y's. All right? What else do you notice on example 1? What else does it have?
There's a rule.
A rule, which is your what? What does this look like? Do y'all see this right here? Y equals 2x plus 3. What's that called?
Range.
Oh, wait.
Y equals 2x plus 3. What's that called?
Equation.
An equation. Okay, so it's giving your domain, it's giving your range, and it's giving you an equation. Okay? In order to be able to find your y's, I got to take these x's and do what with them? Put them in the x spot. It gives me an x number. I'm going to plug it into the x spot, and then I'm going to get my y answer. Okay? So let's do that. My first x is negative 1. Does everybody see that? So I'm going to take negative 1. All right, now let me tell you this story. You're playing football, right? Everybody's playing football. And I want to sub somebody into the game. And I say, Brandon, go into the game. Can Brandon just join the game?
No.
What has to happen?
He has to take out one guy.
Somebody's got to come out of the game. Okay, I take Brandon, I put him into the game, somebody's got to come out of the game. That's what subbing is. Somebody's messing up, we're going to put somebody in so the guy that's messing up can come out. Is everybody following me? Okay, so negative 1. I'm coaching. I'm going to say negative 1. X is really screwing up in this equation right now. We got to get negative 1 into this game, and we got to take X out of it. Okay, he's messing up. So when I take negative 1, I got to sub it into the game. Well, 2x plus 3 is my game, right? So I'm going to start with 2. He's staying in the game. But what about X? What has to happen?
SOL.
He's got to come out of the game. He's messing up. I don't want him in there. So I'm going to take him out, and instead of writing X, I'm going to put negative 1 in there. And when I plug in, or I substitute somebody in, we got to have parentheses around it.
Uh-oh.
Okay? And then the plus and the 3 are going to stay in the game. They're doing okay. They're not messing up. We'll leave them in there. Okay? All right. So I took negative 1. I subbed him into the game. So now I'm going to get my calculator. Everybody got their calculator in front of them.
I don't know what mine is.
Just grab one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Every day. Grab notes, grab calculator, put your phones up.
Why not?
I'm blinded.
It's right here.
Okay. So, we're going to go to the regular calculator. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in exactly how it looks. So I've got a 2. I've got parentheses. A -1 inside the parentheses. I've got a plus sign, and then I have a 3. Can you close that? Thank you. Okay? And when I hit enter, what do we get? 1. So right underneath, I'm going to put a 1 there, because that's my answer. Now, 1 represents what?
1.
1.
It's representing the y.
Oh,
Y.
I already put the x. The x is -1. My y is my answer, which is going to be, oops, sorry. That's going to be my range. So 1 right here. So I'm going to write that. Does everybody see where I wrote the 1 under range? Okay. Now, how many x's do I have?
3.
I've got 3 x's. So how many times am I going to substitute?
3.
3 times. So my next x is going to be 0. So I'm going to take 0 and I'm going to plug him into the game. What's my game? 2x plus 3. That's the equation. And who's messing up right now? X. X got to come out. So then I take 2. And I'm going to sub 0 into the game. So I'm going to put him in parentheses and then plus 3. And I'm going to plug that in my calculator exactly how it looks. 2 times 0 plus 3, which gives me 3. And 3 represents my what?
Y.
My range. Good. My y. All right. Then I've got to do this one more time because I have one more x. X is standing on the sideline. I really need him. Or sorry, 1 is standing on the sideline. I really need him in the game because X keeps messing up. So I'm going to plug him in. Take X out. Plus 3. Where did what come from?
The 2.
Right here.
No, the
And the
1.
1.
Oh, this should be a 3. Sorry, y'all. Good. Thank you. Sorry. There we go. Thank you for catching that. So then 2 times 1 plus 3 gives me 5. And that represents my
Y.
y. Good. Okay, notice what it says over here is my ordered pairs. So if I plugged in a -1 and I got 1 as my y, that's my x and my y. They go together. So my ordered pair would be -1, 1. Then I had x is 0, and when x is 0, y was 3. So then I've got 0, 3. And then x is 1, y was 5. And there's my ordered pairs. So everybody make the connection of how those became ordered pairs. X and y go together, so those would be a dot on a graph together. Okay? Questions on this? Okay, let's talk about function notation. So this is the algebra part. This is your algebra 1 part, okay? So function notation is this right here, f of x. What does f of x really mean?
F is X.
Okay, what is that representing? Okay, if this was an equation, what would this represent? Blank equals 2x plus 3. What would this be? Your y, yeah. So f of x is really your y. It means the same thing. F of x really is just y. It's just a fancy way to write it. It is a weird way, I agree. I wish they wouldn't do it, but they do. Okay? So, f of x really just means y equals 2x plus 3. What it says is find f of -1. Okay, well this originally, without a number in it, is really f of x, right? And -1 is in the what spot?
Yeah.
The x spot. Does everybody see how -1 is inside the parentheses and x is inside the parentheses? So what they did was they replaced the x and put a -1 there. And it says to find f of -1, you would replace x with -1 in the rule. The rule is really my game. It's really my football game. Okay? So I'm going to take this -1, and just like they sub -1 for x here, I'm going to take -1 and sub him in here. And if I sub something into the game, x is going to come out. Okay? So 2, and I'm going to sub in -1 plus 3. So if you see something like this, it's telling you, look, -1, I want to sub him in. Okay, so that's what we did. If I sub in -1, I say times -1 plus 3 gives me what? 1. So that would be my answer. Okay, questions on that? Yes?
So why would x for like the f -1, since that would be x, then why whenever it's whenever fx that turns into a y?
So the -1 is in the x spot, right? But the entire thing together, all of it means y. But the -1 is only in the x spot. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Okay. All right, look at 2. It might make sense more in just a second, okay? Huh? You'll get it, I promise. Number 2 says find the range. Okay, so I'm talking about domain and range, so I'm going to write Dr. XY left his ID in his office. Range is representing what letter?
Y.
Y. Make sure you're writing this with me, guys. So range is representing the Y. So above the word range, I'm going to write Y. So what am I finding?
Range.
The Y's, right? Okay, do I know the Y's right now? No, I'm trying to find them. It says find the range of each function for the given domain. What's it giving me?
Yeah.
The x. Okay, so f of x equals x squared minus 2. And it's saying the domains are these numbers right here. So how many domains do I have?
4.
4. So I've got 4 x's, right? So if I have 4 x's, how many y's do I have to have?
4.
4. Okay? Now, I'm going to take each x and I'm going to plug it into the game. All right? Now, my game is only this part right here. That's the only part of the game. Because what does this really represent?
Y.
Y. I don't know the y. I can't plug anything into the y because I don't know that. That's what I'm trying to find. So right here is my game. All right? So -2 is got to go take x out of the game because x is messing up. So when I plug something in, what has to go around it? Parentheses. So I'm going to take -2 and I'm going to put parentheses only around -2. And then squared minus 2. The only thing that goes in the parentheses is the only thing that you're plugging in. Am I plugging in the squared?
No.
No, it's already there. So he does not go inside the parentheses. That will mess your answer up. If you put this little 2 inside the parentheses, your answer will be wrong. Okay? He's not being plugged in. He does not go in the parentheses. So then I take my calculator and I plug it exactly how it looks. So parentheses -2 squared minus 2, which gives me 2. So that's my first range. I'm going to put a box around it. That's my first y. And how many times do I have to do that?
4.
4 times because I have 4 x's. Okay? So then I take my next one, my next x. I say, okay, 0, go sub x out of the game. So I take 0, I put parentheses around him, square him, minus 2. Now he's in the game. And I say 0 squared minus 2 gives me -2. So that's my next y. And I got to do this 4 times. Make sure you're writing it down. Don't just put it in the calculator. You got to show your work. Yes?
Do you have to use parentheses for 0?
Yes, anytime you're plugging anything in, it needs to have parentheses, okay? All right, now I say, okay, positive 2, you're going to go into the game. You need to go get X out because he's messing up. So then I take positive 2, I put him in parentheses, and I put him in the game. And then I plug that into the calculator. Parentheses 2 squared minus 2 gives me 2. How many more times do I have to do this? One more time. And I take 4. All right, 4, go get X. Take him out of the game. So 4, well, you're going to put parentheses around you. Square him minus 2. I could even say he's putting his helmet on, like the parentheses, right? That makes me happy because I just thought of that. Okay, then I take 4 squared minus 2 gives me what? Sorry, 14. That's my last Y. Okay? So did I find the ranges?
Yes.
Yes, I did. 2, negative 2, 2, and 14. Good? Yes.
Every time I put in parentheses and squared and then minus 2, it always goes in multiple.
Okay, then you're doing negative 2 and not minus 2. Are you hitting this button for minus? Okay, this means negative. We want minus. Okay? Okay, last one, example 3. Okay, right here, it says find the values indicated for h of x, and then it gives me all these ordered pairs, right? So looking at h of 6, 6 is in the what spot?
Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's in the x spot. So x equals what? 6 for h of 6, right? Because it's in the x spot. So what I want to do is I want to go find where is x equal to 6? Here, right? Because it's x comma y. X comes first. So right here is where x is 6. What is the y? 12. That's my answer. Yep. Then go to the next one. H of negative 2. Negative 2 is in the what spot?
Yeah.
The x spot. So x equals negative 2. Okay? So go find where x is negative 2 here. And what is y? 6. Okay. Now look at this one. H of x. This really means what? Y. It does not have a number in it, so it really means y. So it's saying y equals 10. Where does y equal 10?
4.
Right here. So my x is 4. All right, h of 8. 8's in the what spot? H is in the, 8 is in the x spot. And when x is 8, y is 14. Okay, h of x, what does that mean? Y. It does not have a number in it, so it's y equals 8. And when y equals 8, x is 2. And then the last one, h of x is really my what? Y. And when y equals 6, x is negative 2. Questions? Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh my God, no.